And this is how you know that the tree of IUIC is not thoroughly dressed. I want to give all honor, all praise, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. So, you got the IUIC teaching about the beast system and going into the trade wars that are currently going on. And they still can't seem to understand that Russia is not a part of the beast, never have and never will be a part of the beast system. And two, they still teaching that you're going to be persecuted for not worshiping the image of Cesare. They still trying to push this, Christian narrative, that if you don't get down with plantation Christianity, you'll be cut off and you'll be persecuted and put to death. Now, mind you, what is one of the latest reports that brother's been going into? How they're proposing a law in the UK, which is in the belly of the beast, where they're going to persecute you if you're caught preaching. All right, if you're preaching in public, if you're laying hands on people and giving them prayer, if you're doing these type of things and it's offending people, you can get locked up for up to 2 years. So if they're coming down on people who believe in Christianity, then how in the hell is the image of the beast Christianity? Now, when you go into the wine of Babylon, plantation Christianity is a part of that, because a lot of our people, they got that image stuck in their head. They learned the false way of how to serve the Most High. It was taught by the precepts of men, which was crafted by the slave master when they went and conquered and colonized the world, with their Renaissance Christian religion. All right. Also, we know that it stemmed from the Catholic Church, which is the false prophet. Right. So we know that the Christian church is definitely part of prophecy. But how are you still going to say that if you ain't worshiping Christianity, that means that you're not worshiping the image of the beast and you're going to be killed? It doesn't make sense, but I'm gonna go into this, real briefly. All right, and I forget this elder's name. He been around for many years, but I'm not big on names. But here you're gonna hear them go into that list of nations that make up the 7 heads and the 10 horns. And they still have Russia in that list, which I have no idea why. All right. If you in this thing, you everything that we go into, it has to make sense. It has to coincide with historical facts and definitely with prophecy. All right. And Russia being a part of the beast, it doesn't make sense historically or prophetically. All right. We know that Russia is the bear. What does the bear have to do with the eagle or the dragon? So let's listen to this real quick.
The image of the 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, you got the 7 heads, which is Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, Great Britain, and okay, the 8 is America, which I will show you all as I keep on reading, which had 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, so this.
And you should have, when you going into that, them 7 heads will also be a part of the 10 horns. All right. But you got Russia in there. What the hell is Russia doing with these European countries when the European Union and NATO got their start? Uh, Russia had their own alliance. They were dealing in the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union. All right, and then you had the Warsaw Pact in the 1950s, and then they started to dissolve over the course of time. All right, their partnerships start to dissolve, and they started going their own separate ways, and then eventually you had them Eastern blocs that basically went to the other side, and they became part of the NATO, if I'm not mistaken. So Russia posed a threat to those European countries, which is why they formalized together in the first place. So how in the hell would Russia be a part of that? They still haven't like broke this down to make it make sense. And of course, their followers, their congregation members, they don't think to question these things. I don't see them behind closed doors when class is over with. I'm pretty sure ain't nobody going to them and pulling them to the side and asking, "Hey, elder, hey, bishop, hey, deacon, can you explain this to me? Where in history did Russia ever be a part of this alliance? Show me where in history where Russia was ever a part of the beast." Now you can even go. So we got AI now. They answer a lot of questions. All right, so there's no excuse. You can look these things up. I went in and typed. I said, "Was Russia ever a part of the NATO EU alliance?" And this is the response. It says Russia was never a member of NATO or the EU. So how is it a part of the seven? If y'all teaching that the 7 heads and the 10 horns is NATO or the EU, and then we know that America is a part of it, through NATO, right? How in the hell is Russia a part of that? Why would they even be listed? It says, dealing with NATO, Russia has historically been viewed as an adversary to NATO, the beast, particularly during the Cold War, when the Soviet Union led the opposing Warsaw Pact. After the Soviet Union's dissolution in 1991, after the Cold War, Russia engaged in limited cooperation with NATO through mechanisms like the NATO-Russia Council established in 2002, but it never joined the alliance. Relations deteriorated significantly after Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014, and further with the 2022 invasion of Ukraine. And dealing with the EU, Russia has never been a part of the European Union. The EU and Russia maintain economic and political dialogues, such as the EU-Russia Partnership and Cooperation Agreement in 1997, but membership was never pursued. Russia's political system, territorial disputes, and divergence from EU values like democracy and rule of law made integration incompatible. Relations worsened after the 2014 sanctions and the 2022 Ukraine conflict. No formal membership or alliance with either organization has ever existed. So you continuing to teach this, just shows, the error. And that's why, like, when we go into these scriptures, and the spirit is on us, we're able to detect the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Matter of fact, let me get that. I believe it's in 1 John. And when we do these kind of lessons, people think, oh, here go GMS hating on IUIC again. That's all they talk about. They stay talking about IUIC, because they're jealous. Because we're making progress. Nah, man, it has nothing to do with anything beside the word. All right, we anybody that's going off in the scriptures, you have to be corrected, reproved. All right, this is 1 John 4 and 6. It says, "We are of the Most High. He that knoweth the Most High heareth us. He that is not of the Most High heareth not us. Hereby we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error." Okay, and they're definitely in the spirit of error if they're continuing to teach this, because this is not supported by no history, and you definitely can't show me this in prophecy. All right, and that goes for any other Israelite camp that teach this as well. I believe the ISUPK teaches it as well, and I don't know if this was part of the original teachings from going back to the old school. Maybe one of the elder apostles can fill us in on that, but you know they never taught. They don't teach this. All right, and the scriptures say to continue in the thing which you learn. All right, so when we see these type of breakdowns, the scriptures say, Romans 16 and 17, mark them which cause offenses and divisions. All right, contrary to the doctrine which you have learned, and avoid them. We're supposed to mark them and avoid them. So that's why we watch them, because the word mark means to watch carefully. The Greek word is a scopeo, which means basically put the scope on them, watch them. Observe them, and when you see these errors, you're to avoid them and warn others. So anyway, let's continue.
Beast, it make up what? It make up the whole body of Edom. All the Edomite nations. Now today, the 10 horn is not just 10. All these Edomite nations in Europe have joined them 10 horns. So it's like 29, 30 or something like that. Or 29 or 30, all Caucasian race. The European Union, you are not going to find no dark nation, no Chinese, no Arabs part of the European Union. Okay? Because the European Union is them 10 horns. Y'all understand? Originally, when it started off, was originally these 10 countries. But now it's over 20 some or 30 some of them have joined. Like even last year, I think I'm here.
Yeah, you can look up the Western European Union flag, and you'll see there's 10 stars there, because it started with those 10 European countries, and then later they added more European countries, and then with the dissolution of the Soviet Union, you had other countries in that area that was a part of the Soviet Union that ended up basically shipping over. Okay, but let's continue.
Nations joining the European Union. Okay, part of what started the war in Ukraine is because Ukraine wanted to join NATO and the European Union. Okay, so every year or so, all the white nations in Europe, all of them is clinging and trying to join European Union. Because when you join the European Union, what they do, they share technological advances. They share economic wealth amongst each other. Okay, that's what they do. Okay, as America as a head, that's what they do. So no dark nation is going to be brought into that beast system. You understand? No dark nation going to be brought into the 7 heads and 10 horns. It's talking about all European, all Caucasian, all Edomites.
Well, Russia is not European. Yeah, they're occupied by Edomites, but they're not European. That's not a European nation. So y'all still need to do a class and explain how Russia is a part of the 7 heads. Okay.
Okay? Read that again for me.
Verse 7. And the angel said unto me.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go skip now. You know, they're going into the trade war and Trump and all these other events. Then they go into Revelation 13.
Y'all understand? All nations wonder after Spain, Britain, and these nations. Read on.
And they worship the dragon.
And they worship Satan. Read on.
Which gave power unto the beast.
Because that's who gave the white man his power, Satan. Read on.
And they worship the beast.
And they worship the...
See, when you go into Revelation 13, is jumping from the first beast, all right, which was the Roman Empire, which was the fourth beast in Daniel, the 7th chapter, all right, and then it talks about it gets its revitalization, you know, it gets its, you know, second wind, you know, later in history, and it comes back as you know, this beast system in which America would be the dominating force of this beast system. So when you get around the 11th verse, you know, that's when it goes into America. All right, the dragon that, you know, will the beast having two horns like a lamb, but it spoke as a dragon. That's when it goes into America with the two-party beast system, which is modeled after the first Roman structure when, you know, you had the patricians and the plebeians, all right, so on and so forth, and you can go into the history on that, all right. So this is Romans 13 is about basically the beast system starting with the Roman Empire, all right.
Beast, the white man, read on.
Saying, who is like unto the beast?
Uh-huh.
Who is able to make war with him?
Who is able to make war with France, with Britain? Read on.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy.
That's true true Christianity. Okay? And him calling himself a Jew. Read on.
And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
Read on.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God.
Read on.
To blaspheme his name.
Read on.
Why not include some of the things they've been speaking at the at Davos, you know, which is right over there in a country that's part of the 10 horns. All right, it's in Davos over in was it Brussels? And over there, they talking a lot of futuristic stuff. All right, basically trying to act like they're the Most High. You know, you had Klaus Schwab, who was originally, you know, heading it, and you had his mentor, all right, Yuval Noah Harari, who made all these blasphemous statements, you know, against the Most High, his only begotten Son, and, you know, basically saying that we're gonna play God on earth. There ain't gonna be no need for a sky God. You know, we get to create, you know, God, or all type of blasphemous statements. You know, very, very lofty. And they're setting up a system, all right, which they're going to try to dominate the world with, and it's, you know, through technological means now. It's all advanced, which the old Roman Empire didn't have the advancement of the technology that it has now. So that's why they're going to, you know, come with that full force. And people are going to wander after it. They're going to worship it because of the miracles. In Christianity, what miracles are you seeing from the Christians? You know? But with this new technocracy that they're trying to build globally, you know, they're going to see that this technology, you know, they're going to be doing things that are what's considered supernatural on the left-hand side, man. Like you got Neuralink, that Elon Musk is pushing, and several people then went through the test. Motherfuckers playing video games with their brain. Monkeys playing video games, restoring eyesight. With the brain technology. They come up with all these devices now. All right. You got the new technology that they're introducing through that new series. Well, it's not a new, but the new season of the series Black Mirror, called the nubbin device. You attach it to your head. It goes into your brain, and you get to relive certain memorial events in your life. You damn near time travel through the device. So this man is trying to be like the Most High on earth. So what do you think his image is? If he's trying to be like the Most High, and he's trying to do supernatural things, like a God, then what is his image? That's what you got to ask yourself. Is it really Cesare? A image that somebody drew or painted? There's no image of Cesare where it's been given life. That is speaking. How does that make sense? Give us an example of that, where he made an image of Cesare start speaking to people and said, you got to worship my image if you want to eat and buy and sell and basically function in the world. People are getting persecuted for that image. Well, not for that image, but people are getting persecuted. If you stand on the beliefs of the Bible in different parts of the world. So that's a contradiction, but let's keep going.
And his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven.
So he called himself a Jew. He said he is the people of God. All these things he have done. He said the angels look like him. God look like him. Read on.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them.
So he made war with us. He made war with us on this side of the world. And he made war with us in Africa. And he overcame us. You all understand? That's what he did. Who this is talking about first and foremost? Who this is talking about? This is talking about Britain, Spain, France. You all understand? This is what we're reading here is before America came into power. Okay, because when we keep on reading, they're going to tell you when America came into power. Y'all understand?
And no mention of Russia. But no mention of Russia. So you see how inconsistent this is. He's not going to name Russia because Russia is never a part of that. And Russia wasn't a part of the European countries that came to make war with the saints. So why is Russia even in the conversation?
So this beast was conquering the world and all of that. He made war with us and he overcame us. This beast is talking about the 10 horns and the 7 heads. You all understand? 10 horns and the 7 head. The 8 head and rides up as yet. Keep on reading.
And it was...
All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip forward because he's going to go into the mark, of course. You see how look, they keep bringing up Cesare. Cesare is old news, man. Most people now already know the Lord never looked like that. All right. Nobody trips off of that image anymore. So this is so outdated. Okay. But let me skip forward.
And his image should be killed. When did the beast system really set up? Where America ruling all the earth? When was that set up? In when? 1945, right? Okay, after 1945, America set up the IMF. Europe and them gave their power to America and so forth. Okay, then America start reinforcing that white image of Christ on the earth. Okay, so what we're reading here is going into the future. Okay, it's going into the time that we're going to be living in. Read that again one more time.
Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
So he gave that white image of Christ. He gave that white image, the image of Caesar Borgia, the life of Christ. Read on.
That doesn't make any sense. So they formalized in the power in the mid 1940s, going into the 1950s. You know, they created these alliances, and we talking about an economic, political alliance, and that gave power to the image of Cesare. How to explain that? Make that make sense, bro? How do you come to that conclusion? You know, and mind you, at this time they're formalizing against the Soviet Union, which Russia was a part of. So, going back to the Russia question, how in the hell is Russia a part of the beast? And why are we talking about the image of Cesare? What did any of that have to do with each other? They don't make sense, man. But like it says in Proverbs, the simple believeth every word, but the prudent look well to his going. You got to rightly divide the word of truth. And you got to be accurate when you're going into the prophecy and breaking it down using historical reference. This ain't adding up, man.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many.
And it's speaking now. If you know, you're looking at the world around you and its transformation into a whole new system. The monetary system, cash being obsolete, they're going digital. Everything is being ruled by AI. The replacement of the labor force with AI, robots, automation. Like you had those dock workers that was threatening to strike and leave because of automation. Everything around us is starting to be centralized, and it's being turned into a technocracy. And that's exactly what Trump's administration entails. The transformation into a global technocracy where everything is controlled, under AI and its technology, the fourth industrial revolution. All right, which goes back to the secret council of the wicked, where they're speaking these blasphemies. Come on, man. And that's why John talks about the buying and the selling. Because that's all instrumental to what the beast system is doing. All right, and it all goes against it. It's in opposition to the divine order of the Most High, the way the Most High set things up. So this AI thing, they're trying to turn it into, the image of a god, to make you worship it, and with this God, we giving it power. It's gonna have life to it. It's gonna, be able to do things that even man can't do. Read 2 Thessalonians 2. He's gonna come with the workings of Shaitan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. That's, what the image is gonna be designed to do. The image of Cesare is just a damn picture, man. A painting, a portrait.
As would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
So read on.
And he calls it all.
So that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. No. Let me show you all something. Go to Revelation 12 and 13.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 13.
Yo, hey, I need our next reader. I got to finish this up quick. Sir. Revelation 12 and 13.
Yes, sir.
So let me skip.
Bible is talking about and teach it. That's what make you a prophet. You could understand the secrets of God.
Prophets.
So they're going into the persecution and the, the martyrdom of the prophets, that's going to take place in Babylon. But what does that have to do with Cesare? What does that have to do with the image of Cesare? You telling us that the image of Cesare is going to get the prophets killed? Because who will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So you saying that if people don't worship that image, you saying that the prophets of the Lord, because we got Cesare with the devil's horns on his head, that's what's going to get us persecuted and put in prison and eventually go up under the guillotine and get decapitated? Come on, man. This is so outdated and it's definitely not true. Come on, man.
God hath avenged you on her.
So God have avenged the apostles and the prophets on her. By what? Destroying America. Proving what? The prophets and the saints, they will be killed here in America. You understand? They will make war with us and they will kill a lot of us. Now jump back to where you was at.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Read on.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
So those of us that would not worship the image of the beast, there's a system that will be set up where if you do not worship the image of the beast, you do not follow Christianity, you will be killed. It will be set up here in America.
That's crazy, man. That's wild. They already attack us for our belief system, which is based off of the Bible, the same Bible that Christians read from. So how are we going to be persecuted because we're not following Christianity? Christianity, like, more and more people are falling away from the Christian religion. More people are denouncing it. A lot of them because they've been ear hustling the prophets. They've been listening and watching, and they're seeing that Christianity just ain't it. All right, Christianity is the false prophet. All right, because it comes from the Catholic Church. Okay, but by no means are they gonna. Esau's gonna check to see if you worship Cesare, and if you don't, he's gonna put you to death. Come on, bro. Y'all still pushing this like this is horrible. But I'm waiting to see what y'all gonna say the mark is right here. Let's finish this out. We'll close up.
Now let me show you all what Trump said. Play that video with Trump. I send you all that video with Trump here. First, you know what? Read Revelation 20. Revelation 20 and 4. Revelation 20 and 4. And then show that video with Trump.
Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them.
Read on.
And judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus.
So we was testifying the word of God for the witness of Jesus. We saw the souls of them that was beheaded. This goes back to Revelation.
Yeah, and those same souls, they preached Yahweh. They taught his name. Okay, remember when they was talking about, this was back like when Trump was in his first term. It was towards the end of his first term, but there was the anti-Semitic narrative going out, that whole psyop, and then they was talking about extremism, and they were showing signs of Yahushai's name even in these news segments, because there was random signs being posted in different neighborhoods that said Yahushai is coming or Yahushai is coming back or something like that. If we remember, and the world doesn't know the Messiah's name by Yahushai. We're the main ones that's pushing that, and it was when it was pushing the media, the narrative on it, it was with negative connotation. It was, pushed to be seen in a negative light. So anything associated with that name would have to be associated with, extremism. Jesus is not a threat. You're not going to be persecuted because you didn't, because you preach Jesus. Okay. Now maybe in the UK, and I mean, eventually, that those unrighteous decrees will make its way over here, but they're going to push against us because we're teaching the actual truth. All right. But let's finish out.
18. Okay. The deaths of the saints and the prophets. Read on.
And for the word of God.
And they were killed for the word of God. Read on.
And which had not worshipped the beast.
That did not worship the beast. The beast here is talking about who? Huh? Is mainly going into America. You understand? Okay? The beast is going into America. Okay? That did not worship America because America is the head of the beast.
What? The beast is the system that you were just breaking down. This 7 heads and 10 horns. Yeah, America is the spearhead, just like it talks about the great whore in Revelation 17 that rides upon the image of the beast. Which right now the Most High is dividing them up. They're not even getting along. Eventually, according to the prophecy, they're going to turn on America. He says that the beast shall hate the whore and burn her. But it's when it talks about worshiping the image of the beast, it's talking about the system. All right, and Cesare, that image no longer has any power like that. All right.
Okay, Revelation 13, the beast, that other beast that come up there, it's America. Okay, read on.
Which had not worshipped the beast.
That did not worship America.
Neither his image.
Neither you had the image that America pushed or how Christ looked. Read on, meaning you were not following what? Christianity. Read on.
But the image originated in Europe. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, they painted up Cesare to be the new Messiah. But does that mean that they were going to make us worship that image right here in the States, and especially in these last days? So when the prophets get persecuted and martyred, is Cesare is going to be the main focal point. Come on, man. That's why you gotta, when you listen to these guys, you gotta analyze what they're saying and teaching. All right, use discernment.
Neither had received his mark upon their foreheads.
Neither you receive this man mark up in your mind. Read on.
Or in their hands.
Nor in your hands. Okay, from there, I want
the mark in your minds, and yeah, you already know where this is going. So they're gonna double down on it not being the C hip, the technology, So this is why a lot of people that follow them, if they're not of the elect, they're gonna fall into that ditch along with these guys, man. Okay, and that's why the Lord said, if a prophet, basically speak a lie that the Lord did not say. He said the Lord said that he have deceived that prophet. Let me get that. And that's why it says to try the spirit by the spirit, whether they be of the Most High, because false prophets have gone out into the world. You going into this and you breaking this down like that, you're a false prophet, man, because this is not the true interpretation of these prophecies. A real prophet can interpret it correctly. Ezekiel 14:9, it says, and if the prophet be deceived when he have spoken a thing, I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people Israel. And they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him. So you can't see through the glitz and the glamour and the purple and the gold and the gimmicks and analyze what these men are teaching in their actions. Then you're going to be deceived through those men, those false prophets, and you're going to bear the punishment that comes with following the false prophet. That's what the Lord said. Okay, that the house of Israel may go no more astray from me, neither be polluted anymore with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and I may be their God, saith the Lord God. Okay, so you already see where this is going.
Created right now. When you look on
and count the number of the beast.
So what is the worship the white Jesus? Okay, they will kill you if you don't follow American philosophies and politics. What do I mean? If you say that the people in the land is not the Jews, soon you're gonna be put to death for saying that. I'm telling you what. For you saying you are Jews, soon you're gonna be put to death for saying that. You know,
buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast.
So you got to get the mark or the name of the beast. Read on.
Or the number of his name.
Or the number of his name. Read on.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast.
So what is the number of the beast? Read on.
So he's not going to go into the buying and selling. He refused to he's just going to breeze right past that because they already know. They know it makes more sense when you teach it the way we teach it. This same beast system that's alive right now, all right, that's shifting the course of the world, you're going to need to be a part of the system in order to buy and sell. So how are they going to do it? You're going to need an implantable device that they're going to put in your body that's going to give them total control over you. All right. And they're going to be able to control the affairs of your living. All right. Your monetary system, which is dealing with your buying and selling, your transactions. All right. Being able to sell a service, being able to make purchases, so on and so forth. And all that information to be on a feed. All right. Wherein with cash, you can't overlook cash transactions. You don't know what's going on when you're dealing with cash. Esau wants oversight over everything. So this is a way that he's going to be able to, mark you and trace you. Okay. And brand mark you, because once it's in your body, you're pretty much property now. All right. And it'll never go and break that word, chai stigma. All right. Stigma means what? It means to cut into, an incision. All right. And it just so happened that Jai, which is a part of, when you break that down in the Greek, is part of that breakdown. You have, Shalaki, I think it's she, the head of China, the president of China, with what he's doing with having China, basically dismantle America in this trade war, is what's going to lead to the destruction of this economic structure. And that's what's going to coincide with going into the MOTB system, where everything going digital. China is already there. So it's all interesting, but I wouldn't expect them to see those things. So yeah, man, this is horrible. But hey, this is why we come in and we have to, break these things down. All right. But anyway, I'm gonna end off with that. I'm gonna give all honor, praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And to the next one, Shalom.